News 7x7 is a unique channel dedicated to the news from dairy industry. Every week you receive brief on top 7 dairy news on this YouTube channel from India and abroad. These news could be seen in detail on our channel dairynews7x7.com also. You may write in the comment box on the dairy topics of your interest. We will try to develop news feature on the same. Your constant feedback and patronage to this channel is our source of top 7 dairy news from the week of January 9th will cover. Decarbonizing India, agriculture is one of the largest emitter of GHG. S Sodhi wants to take up advisory roles in dairy industry. Purabi dairy organises calf show in Assam. A data repository for fodder is the need of the hour. Documentary Maa Ka Doodh with message on animal cruelty awarded. Chinese localities supporting dairy farmers amid tough market conditions. And despite price increases, dairy products continue to overperform in 2022. A recent study by consulting firm McKinsey & Company says decarbonizing could help India save a cumulative $1.7 trillion in forex on energy imports by 2070. Not only that, adopting sustainable farming practices and reducing greenhouse gas emissions could supplement farmers' income by up to Indian rupees 4,800 per hectare a year, the study says. 5 industries account for around 72% of India's overall emissions: power, iron and steel, cement, transport and agriculture. India will require $7.2 trillion investment by 2050, which is 3.5% of GDP, for decarbonization in the current policy scenario. The agriculture sector, which is most vulnerable to climate change, is the bedrock of the Indian economy, accounting for 14% of the country's GDP and 40% of its employment. Agriculture is one of the highest GHG emitting sectors, accounting for nearly 20% of the country's total GHG emissions. Total agricultural emissions in India are expected to increase from 585 million ton CO2 emission in 2019 to 650 million ton CO2 emission by 2030, and then gradually decline to around 530 million ton CO2 emission by 2070. Livestock accounts for more than half of this emission. The biggest transformation challenge in the agriculture sector is engaging with 150 million farmers, 95% of whom hold small farms. The McKinsey report points out that technological interventions alone could help cut over 75% of agricultural emissions. However, implementing such green interventions may require total capex spending of nearly $240 billion by 2070. The upside is that faster decarbonization of agriculture could lead to additional earning of $145 billion by 2070. Sales of GCMMF, known for the Amul brand, grew from Rs 8,000 crores to 65,000 crores during the tenure of S Sodhi as managing director, which ended last week. GCMMF now procures 280 lakh litres of milk daily versus just 88 lakh litres in 2010 when Sodhi came as Amul's MD. Sodhi told Money Control that he had been on extension and he now wants to take up advisory roles in the dairy industry, and also remembered the eventful years he spent at the cooperative giant. Sodhi stepped down earlier this week and current CEO Mr. Jayan Mehta has been given charge as MD for the time being. He remains president of the Indian Dairy Association as well as a member on the board of the International Dairy Federation. I do not want to take up other roles as of now, said Sodhi, who was with GCMMF for nearly 41 years. The West Assam Milk Producer Cooperative Union Limited WAMUL, popularly known as Purabi Dairy, organized a mega calf show in Pathsala to highlight the effectiveness and benefits of artificial insemination. The exhibition showcased 100 female calves produced through artificial insemination in Assam through the doorstep AI delivery service under the World Bank Finance project implemented by WAMUL, and the technical support being provided by NDDB Dairy Services. High genetic merit calves for indigenous breeds like Gir, Sahiwal and Red Sindhi, and crossbreeds between indigenous breeds and Holstein Friesian and Jersey participated in the show. A few calves of exotic breeds like HF and Jersey were also displayed. F1 mothers of Sahiwal, Jersey and Red Sindhi were also displayed in the show. Minesh Shah, Chairman NDDB, said dairying is one of the most important and effective sources of livelihood in the agriculture and allied sectors. Data on number of livestock along with their sex composition, age distribution, utility-wise distribution, etc. is provided by livestock census on quinquennial basis. However, very little information is available on fodder in the public domain. Further, merely information on aggregate area on fodder without disaggregating it into important fodder crops like barseem, oat, lucerne, etc. and various fodder grasses hides many significant information on green fodder. Area under barseem, a major rabi fodder crop in north, central and eastern region, is also being reported around 1.9 million hectares from last few decades. But the estimates of fodder production vary widely. According to a recent study, India is facing a net shortfall of 35.6% green fodder, while the latest reports of Jhansi-based Indian Grassland and Fodder Research Institute shows a deficit of green fodder of 11.25% only. This discrepancy in fodder deficit is mainly because of the assumptions of these estimates. Filmmaker Harsha Atmakuri's investigative documentary Maa Ka Doodh about the illegal and unethical practices prevalent in the Indian dairy industry has won 4 awards at the ongoing Jaipur International Film Festival. Maa Ka Doodh received awards for Best Director, Best Documentary Feature, Best Screenplay and Film which gives a global message. The film explores the ethical, cultural, environmental, religious, economic and political complexities that surround the consumption of dairy in India and lays bare several instances of animal cruelty that is not only left unchecked by authorities but also has become the norm in the quest for increasing milk production. Also, it delves on the fact that the burgeoning dairy cattle population is resulting in increased beef exports, making India one of the topmost beef exporters of the world. For a liter of milk to be produced, about 1062 liters of water is required. Chinese Animal Husbandry Association and Dairy Industry Associations have stepped up efforts to support dairy farmers and resolve the difficulties facing the industry. According to the Dairy Association of China, DAC, the Chinese dairy industry is facing oversupply pressure due to the decline in consumption and prices, which has led to overstocking of milk products according to the DAC. However, cases of farmers dumping milk or slaughtering cows are very rare at the moment. Meanwhile, local officials have taken measures, including offering subsidies to support dairy farmers. China's raw milk prices are determined by supply and demand for mid to high-end dairy products, which are currently in a phase of overcapacity due to a weak consumer market, according to Song. Data from the National Bureau of Statistics showed that 28.489 million tons of dairy products were produced from January to November 22, with production up 2.8% year on year. Dairy staples like milk, yogurt and cheese continue to dominate the dairy segment in 2022. Though numbers are not at pre-pandemic levels yet, still innovations in many dairy products are helping the category see increases as 2023 approaches. In its latest report, the International Dairy Daily Bakery Association IDDBA showed dairy sales were up 20% at the start of winter, even as prices on key items continued to rise. Milk was the top dairy seller, surpassing the 1.6 billion mark in November. Sustainability and climate conscious call-outs continue to be relevant, and there is no place quite like the dairy section to bring these to the attention of consumers. I expect to see more brands highlighting their environmental impact in 2023. At this point, I think most consumers are aware of the relatively high environmental footprint that the dairy industry has, but it remains to be seen how much of an impact this will actually have on their purchase decision, said one of the experts.
Daily News 7x7 channel with news update from last 7 days. To continue receiving update from this channel, I Kuldeep Sharma request you to subscribe this channel and share and like the video, and also don't forget to press the bell icon. Thank you.